Hello everyone, and welcome to another edition of Starry Skies, the magazine programme that guides you through the wonders of the night sky during this warm spring month of June. I'm Mark Hardaker.
I'm Steve Tonkin, and in this month's programme we'll be venturing out under what we hope will be warmer late evening skies to explore what June has in store for sky watchers here in Dorset and Hampshire.
Absolutely. And today we're going to be talking about an exciting meeting of three planets, Steve.
Do tell.
Jupiter and Jupiter and Venus and Mercury. We'll come to that in a little while. A week after that, they're going to be joined by a delicate crescent moon in the sky. And we'll also be looking this month at the remarkable noctilucent clouds that appear in the evening sky in the north. Mm-hmm. And finally, we're going to be spending some time about our pet subject, aren't we?
Oh, yes, light pollution.
Yeah, it's really important.
Yeah. And it's not a new notion either.
No, it's not.
It was 18th century someone started talking about light pollution, would you believe?
Yeah, and it's important. So we'll come to that. But before we do that, let's have a roundup of where the planets are and where you can find them in the night sky this month, shall we?
Let's do that indeed.
Indeed. So, as you said, June is the longest, has the longest days.
Longest daylight,
warmest days. And of course then the shortest
nights.
Yeah,
in fact, proper night disappears.
Yeah, it doesn't
completely in
become
June.
Fully dark during this time of the year in England, especially in the north of England or Scotland.
Oh dear,
you can forget it up there.
Yeah.
At least we do get. It's dark enough to see stars here, but it's never properly dark from about the middle of May to the middle of July, I guess.
No, I remember once, just after I'd come to England, because I was brought up in the tropics where you get almost no twilight at all. You know, it's over almost a blink. And went to bed early one night and woke up and thought it was dawn. And there were people out. It was only just after 10 o'clock at night. I'd only slept for an hour or two.
Yeah, so here in the south of England, it's dark for maybe an hour, but not what we call astronomical dark, which means the sun isn't far enough below the horizon for us to do proper astronomy. But anyway,
that brings its own delights.
It does indeed. Fortunately, though, June, of course, brings generally clearer weather. So although the nights are short, the chance of seeing something interesting in the sky is much better during those cold, cloudy depths of winter. And it's usually a bit warmer, so all is not yet lost in June.
No.
So let's have a look, as usual, in the sky in the west. So
always start in the west because things over there are going to disappear. So
as the sky moves every evening, so the stars in the west disappear. They set like the sun does, and the stars in the east are rising. So start in the west first of all, and all this month, all the month of June, you will not be able to miss two brilliant planets, Jupiter and Venus.
They're lovely. They're really lovely. And you'll watch them get closer and closer together. And then by the 9th of June, they're going to be really close. You might just about be able to fit your thumb between them if you hold it out at arm's length. It's that close.
And what's happening is that although both planets are moving, right, Venus is moving quicker and catches up to Jupiter.
Yeah.
And we call that a conjunction. So when two planets or two astronomical objects come close together, we call that a conjunction. So before the 9th of June, so this week, if you have a look out, you'll see that Venus is the lower in the sky and the brighter than Jupiter. But after the 9th, the roles reverse. And the faster moving Venus will slip past Jupiter, and then Jupiter will sink, disappearing into the evening twilight, Steve.
So your last chance to have a look at it really this month. So make the most of it.
Yeah.
It's one of those. It's easy to see object in binoculars or a small telescope because it's so bright, easy to find, and you can see markings on it, and you can see the moons that Galileo saw, as we tell you every month when Jupiter's in the sky.
We do tend to, don't we? But Venus will still remain. Venus is moving higher and higher in the sky and will remain visible, in fact, until August, when it will then start to return back towards the sun, and we'll lose it in the western sky.
Also worth looking at if you've got a small telescope. because it actually shows a phase like the moon. It goes through a series of phases, not as quickly as the moon does, and you can see that with your telescope.
So as it's getting closer to us, we're going to see it was going to go from a half Venus to a crescent Venus and get bigger and bigger.
And get bigger and bigger.
Yeah.
Yep.
We'll look out for that. During August, I think we should be looking out for the crescent Venus as it returns. Good. So 9th of June, that's the date. It's a Tuesday, and it really is also an excellent opportunity to try and spot that elusive planet Mercury.
Yes, I always sometimes think it's called Mercury because it's always in the horizon. Merc. It's
mercurial, which is where the word comes from. Anyway.
Indeed. Yeah. So mine's a false etymology, but it's
but it's difficult to see. You know, it's said. I don't know whether it's really true, but the great astronomer Copernicus, the guy who determined the sun was at the centre of the solar system, it was said that he never actually saw Mercury. Do you think that's right?
I think that's possible because where he was in Poland, I mean, there was a lot of wood smoke and coal smoke from fires, and it was quite possible, you know, with that pall of smoke everywhere, that you didn't actually have a good view of the horizon.
Yeah, and it's definitely not easy to see it. I mean, I can attest that, you know, even here in Dorset and Hampshire, you've got to get up onto a place where you've got a good clear view to the west this week. You will be able to find Mercury probably with binoculars to start with, making sure, as we always say, don't we, Steve, do not look at Mercury or try to find it till the sun's gone.
Yeah, indeed. The heat of the sun, magnified by binoculars or a telescope, will instantly damage your eyes. Yeah. And you don't want to do that.
So we don't start looking until certainly after sunset, and probably until it's starting to drop dark. You'll see the pair there, Venus and Jupiter, very close together. And then focus your binoculars down and to the right. Go about 45 degrees, and then you'll spot a small, bright starlight point in the evening twilight. And that will be Mercury. And if you can see it, let us know here at Forest FM, because there are not many people on this planet that have actually seen Mercury, right?
No, and you're going to have to wait till reasonably late. So, you know, it'll be after 10 o'clock, really, you want to look.
Yeah, I looked at Stellarium the other day, which is our little planetarium software, and it said if you look around 10:20 that evening, 10:30, it's going to be dark enough to see Mercury, light enough or soon enough after sunset that it's not set. So have a look around 10:30, and of course by then the sun will have definitely set, so we should be okay. Yeah. The following week, so get your calendars out for this one, the following week, that is on the 17th of June, the moon will join this pretty picture. Now, by this time, Steve, the Venus and Jupiter will have separated, right?
Yes, indeed.
So you've got then Venus further up in the sky.
And Jupiter lower down, yeah.
And Mercury will still be around if you can find it, but best of all, you'll see a beautiful crescent moon with Venus perched on the slender crescent horn of the moon. That'll be a nice sight. And if you've got decent photography gear, go and have a look, see if you can take it.
If you can see the moon in broad daylight, which you can do, it'll give you a hint of where to look for Venus, because Venus is also visible in broad daylight if you have a clear sky, but you've got to know exactly where to look. So you're using the moon as a guide to it. So have a look, see if you can see Venus in daylight.
Yeah. And at that time, on the 17th, the crescent moon is big enough that we should be able to see it from probably 5 or 6 o'clock in the evening before sunset. Again, be aware with binoculars, don't go anywhere near the sun. But if you can find the crescent moon in the early evening, Venus will be right next to it.
Yeah.
And you'll certainly be able to see it with binoculars.
Yeah.
And then test your eyes.
Test your eyes. And to make absolutely certain that you're not going to look at the sun, if you're going to do that, just stand in the shade somewhere.
Yeah.
Because if you're standing in shadow, you can't look at the sun, but you can be in a position where you can see the moon and
that's a great tip.
Venus,
making sure to protect our eyes. I remember Patrick Moore used to always talk about this on The Sky at Night, didn't he? All those years ago, whenever he was talking about eclipses or looking at the sun, he gave that very, very important warning, because you don't get a second chance.
No.
You don't get a second chance.
And the other thing you must never do, you can some cheap telescopes come with little, they call them sun filters that screw into an eyepiece. Don't use them, because they can get hot and fracture. I used to do this for fun, just to destroy a filter. Small boys used to love it. I'd do this at fairs and things like that. This is why you do not use them.
The danger of them cracking in your eye is very high. Okay, so that's 3 planets covered. Now, if you're an early bird, if you like to get up early in the morning, walk the dog at 3 in the morning, perhaps, you may be able to spot Saturn low in the eastern sky before dawn. So, I'm not an early bird myself, Steve. What about you?
I can be. It depends. I tend to wake up relatively early. I'm usually up by 5:30, but
3 o'clock's pushing it a bit.
3 o'clock. Yeah, if I wake up, then I'll get up, because there's no point lying in bed just sort of wishing you were asleep. Might as well get up and do something.
But if you are awake at 3, have a look to the east, and there, in a rather sparse area of the sky with very little in the way of stars, you may find a solitary pale yellow star low in the east, and that is most likely Saturn. It's not brilliant at the moment. It's not very bright. It's going to get brighter as the months go by.
It's still not quite edge on, but it's not sort of full ring view, as it were.
So we'll see. Wait another hour if you really can't sleep. Have a coffee, make sure you can't. But just before dawn breaks, you may also catch sight of Mars rising in the east. But don't worry. To see these two, you're not really going to get up at 3 or 4 in the morning to see them. And both planets will become much more prominent during the autumn and winter months ahead.
And we will wax lyrical about them then.
I'm sure we will. I'm sure we will. That's what we do.
The other thing was about June is there's this beautiful phenomenon called noctilucent clouds, which Mark mentioned earlier. And they're not weather clouds. They are these diaphanous, sort of silvery, sometimes almost like blue hint to them, and you see them on the northern horizon, because the northern horizon doesn't get completely dark at this time of year, and they're much higher than the ordinary weather clouds, and they're just really, really lovely. It's ice crystals lit up by the sun, which is below the horizon.
So these crystals, then, are they the same height as the cirrus clouds and
much higher. These clouds are about 50 miles high, which is sort of the ones we normally see around about get up to possibly about 30,000 feet or so. But
so is that why they reflect the sun's light below the horizon, because they're so high?
Because they're so much higher, so they can be lit by the sun. You can't predict them. They seem to be more intense when the sun is not very active, but that's only a possibility. We don't know if that's a real phenomenon yet. But they are, and they weren't discovered until, or reported at least, until after the Industrial Revolution. So there's been some suggestion that maybe they're a result of pollution we've produced on Earth, but they are a really beautiful result. When you've seen them, you'll know you've seen them, and they are nothing like ordinary weather clouds.
So have a look around midnight. Okay.
So before midnight, you look to the northwest, and after midnight, you look to the northeast. So you want to be looking around where the sun is below the horizon, and you'll see that because the horizon will be slightly brighter there.
Well, good luck with that, because I haven't seen them for the last 2 or 3 years, I have to say. I do remember seeing them when we had Comet Neowise around.
There was
back
a
in 21,
beautiful display. It was really beautiful display. No, they haven't been as good since then. Certainly not from here.
So have a look for them. They're a welcome sight in our skies. But, of course, there are other lights in the sky that we don't like very much, Steve.
No, that's something that I think we really ought to talk about.
We're talking here about light pollution, artificial light from human activity. And, we said that we would actually spend some time on one of these programs talking about light pollution. It's one of those things, it's not really about astronomers, is it, Steve?
No, astronomers have sort of been banging on about it because we're the ones that notice it most. But actually, I got into it through astronomy, but now I'm much, much more concerned about the biodiversity implications of it.
Right.
It's horrendous.
So,
And we've sleepwalked, only wake walked probably, into an environmental situation which has been quite devastating. For example, we have lost something in the order of 60% of our invertebrate populations in the last 30 years, and we're on track to lose the same amount of what's left if we don't wake up. I mean, it's not just light; it's also your other suspects, like climate change and pesticide use, habitat loss. But new research is suggesting that light pollution is probably the most potent driver. But even if it isn't, it's the one we can do something about.
Right. And it's all living creatures.
Yeah.
Need that natural cycle, don't they, of darkness and light?
Yes, and this isn't natural is good, artificial is bad. This is millions of years of evolution.
Right.
We'd say this is a scientific phenomenon. We shouldn't be surprised, but we didn't notice it. I mean, the first thing we noticed was right back in the 1980s, there seemed to be a correlation between the incidence of breast cancer and light pollution. We thought, oh, come on, that's just got to be a correlation, not causation. Huh. And then in 1989, a paper was published showing that women who are bilaterally profoundly blind, so profoundly blind both eyes, have a lower incidence of breast cancer. That's your smoking gun.
That's remarkable,
the light.
Isn't it?
That's the light, yeah.
Who would have thought that?
And we now know what the mechanism is. It's you've all got rods and cones in your eyes that you learn about in school. In the early 2000s, it was discovered there's another sensor there which doesn't actually give us vision. It's called an intrinsically photoreceptive retinal ganglion cell.
Can you say that again, please?
There will be a test at the end of the and that detects a particular blue wavelength of light. And what it does is it causes your melatonin levels to drop. And melatonin is, so they call it sleep hormone, which isn't strictly true, but it is what they call oncostatic. It slows down cancer growth. So that's
as you can hear, dear listener, Mr. Tonkin is extremely knowledgeable about light pollution and takes it very seriously. And I think it's a very, very serious topic.
Yeah.
We had here in this part of the world one of the world's leading protagonists of preventing light pollution, didn't we, Steve?
We did. Bob Misen. He started an organizer. Well, he didn't start, but somebody else started it, but he took it over in the 1980s, the Commission for Dark Skies, and would talk to anyone who would listen about it, and he really understood the topic very, very well. And it's not a case, we're not saying, yes, you should turn all the lights off or anything like that. Nobody's suggesting that. Of course we need light at night, but it's how we light. So what we try to do is promote the responsible lighting. And there's just five facets of responsible lighting. First of all, is the light necessary? Because if it's not necessary, why have it there? Because we now know that the lights cause harm. Secondly, is the light directed where the light's actually needed? We don't need to direct light into the sky because we're not trying to detect somebody arriving by helicopter or parachute. We need it on the ground where we're going to be walking. You have it on when it's necessary. So you put it on timers or motion detectors. You don't use more light than you need. We've all come across these situations where you're dazzled by bright light, whether it's somebody else's headlights or badly positioned, what we call security lights. They're just badly directed and they glare. So you don't want it too bright because you can make yourself disappear behind light. It's that awful. And then the really important thing as well is we've got to go for warm white light. You know how this, a lot of modern headlights, they dazzle like mad.
Right.
It's because they contain a lot of blue, and blue scatters in the atmosphere, which is why the sky is blue, but it also scatters in your lens and cornea of your eye, and that dazzles. So if you knock that blue out, you don't get the dazzle, but the blue is also the thing that is most harmful to human health and to wildlife. So go for warm white, reduce the amount of blue in the light, and you can light perfectly well, perfectly responsibly. It'll cost you less because you'll be using less light, you get a much nicer environmental glow, and people tend to feel safer, actually, when things are lit better rather than lit more intensely.
That's very true. And here we are, two astronomers banging on about light pollution, but I think it's really important to emphasize, Steve, that this is not astronomers saying we want it dark at night. Of course we do. It's for our own well-being, our own, the creatures around us, the wildlife around us, and our own mental health, I think.
Yeah, but they now know that artificial light at night, if it's the wrong sort, it affects things like, as you say, our mental health. Cognition and creativity get reduced. The so-called diseases of modern living, so obesity, hypertension, all those things are exacerbated by it. And, of course, your cancers. And it's not just breast cancer, it's colorectal cancer, testicular cancer, all exacerbated. Not caused, but exacerbated by the fact of bad light at night.
So what can I do? Here I am, I'm a listener to this program. What can I do right now, myself, at my home, to reduce this effect of light pollution? What can I do?
Well, the first thing is decide if the light's actually necessary.
Right.
So if the light is lighting up the front of your house at 2 o'clock in the morning when no one's going to be there, why is it there in the first place? Or if you're uplighting a tree in the garden at 2 o'clock in the morning, there's a million things living in that tree. They need to sleep. So you can check that the light's necessary. And then if it's directable, like a spotlight or a floodlight, just direct it downwards. Most people mount floodlights really badly. They mount them up at an angle. You don't need to, because they've got a big beam angle, about 120 degrees. You can mount them almost horizontal, and then you get a lot of light where you need it. And when I show people how to light stuff, they say, it's the forecourt's so much brighter now. Well, yes, of course it is. That's where you're putting the light. You're not putting half of it into the sky.
Right.
And yes, and then if you're replacing it, then get advice on what is good dark sky quality lighting.
Right.
And there's more and more of it being made now.
Good. So my security lights, I've got my floodlight and I've angled it down. I don't have any lights in the garden that are on past bedtime, 10 o'clock. I turn them off. Before then, you can sit and have a glass of wine outside of the. Well, then turn it off when you go to bed.
You don't want to do it, and you don't want to have a drink outside in the summer in pitch dark anyway.
No, of course not.
Not that it gets pitch dark in summer anyway, but no, it's we're not saying can't emphasise this enough. We're not saying get rid of the light. We're just saying sort of think about it, light responsibly. Because the thing is, if you get it right, unlike any other pollutant, the effect is instantaneous.
Absolutely.
We stop chucking carbon dioxide into the atmosphere, you're looking at 100 years before you start seeing an effect.
Yeah, absolutely. So where can I find out more information online? Where can I go to get some info about what to do and how to help this? Okay,
well, there's several organisations. There's one called Dark Sky International, which the website is darksky.org. That's the sort of parent body. If you're looking for local stuff, I work for Cranbourne Chase National Landscape. Look on our website because we are an international dark sky reserve, and we got advice on our website, or just contact me through that page and ask the question you want, and I'll answer you and send you what you need.
Absolutely. So we have resources also at the astronomy clubs. We'll talk about those in a couple of seconds.
Yeah, indeed.
Where we can help you out. So just all it takes is a couple of seconds thinking about it. What can I do to improve this situation? So the planets and constellations we've mentioned today and all the information about light pollution can be found on our monthly sky chart available at Forest FM, on the Facebook fan page, as well as online at Fordingbridge Astronomers and Wessex Astronomical Society. We've actually put a chart up that shows the night sky as it will be around 10 o'clock on the middle of June. And if you'd like to know more about astronomy or light pollution, which is all part of the same thing, why not contact your local club?
Indeed. So there's 14 British astronomers, and we meet on the third Wednesday of each month at the Elm Tree, which is in Hightown near Ringwood.
Then we have Wessex Astronomical Society. They meet at the Allendale Centre in Wimborne on the first Tuesday of every month.
And then a newer club, which is doing extremely well, Cranbourne Chase Astronomy Club, meet on the second Wednesday of the month at the Grosvenor Hotel in Shaftesbury. They all really welcome new members. You don't need to have any kit at all. If you've got at least one working eye, that's good enough. Two's better, obviously. But then a curiosity about the universe around us. And that's it.
That's it. Very important. And also, if you want to buy a telescope or thinking of buying something for children and grandchildren, perhaps, that's a great source of information too.
Yeah.
Before you buy anything, especially buying it from Amazon, then
yes.
consult someone that might know, and those people are all in astronomy clubs, and they're dying to give you the information so you don't buy the wrong kit. Right?
Yes, there's some really good stuff around, really, really inexpensive.
Yeah.
And there's some real dross around, which is usually slightly more expensive.
Right. Anyway, we look forward to welcoming you again next month for another edition of Starry Skies.
Indeed.
Until then, it's goodbye from me, Mark Hardaker.
And from me, Steve Tonkin. And
as
as usual, clear skies.